The world did not collapse immediately after the Severance Engine activated. That was humanity's greatest curse. If the skies had fallen in a single night, perhaps the elder races would have understood the truth too late for revenge. Perhaps extinction would have arrived swiftly enough to spare the world centuries of suffering. Instead, the death of the ether cycle was slow, painfully slow, and everyone had time to watch it happen. At first, the changes were subtle. The luminous currents that once drifted across the night sky began fading from the atmosphere. Oceans that had glowed beneath moonlight darkened year after year. Resonance storms weakened. The ancient forests stopped singing. Then mana density began falling, not everywhere equally, but steadily, like air escaping from a wounded lung. The elder races felt it first. Elven kingdoms noticed their resonant songs failing during harvest rituals. Dwarven forge fires cooled unexpectedly inside deep mantle caverns. Beastkin hunters found their instincts dulling during migrations. Giants who once crossed mountain ranges effortlessly began collapsing from exhaustion after journeys they had walked for centuries. The world itself was becoming weaker, and the elder races quickly discovered why. Humanity. The truth spread across the first continent like wildfire. The Severance Engine, the southern ruins, the collapse of the ether cycle. The elder races realized humanity had not merely damaged the world, humanity had poisoned it. Rage, unlike anything in recorded history, consumed the planet. For the first time since intelligent life emerged beneath the ether skies, the elder civilizations united under a single purpose: exterminate humanity. The wars that followed were not wars, they were massacres. Elven resonance battalions erased entire human capitals in a single night. Forest roots tore cities apart from beneath the earth, while silver firestorms consumed fleeing armies. Dwarven siege engines collapsed mountains onto human fortresses. Giant clans crushed entire kingdoms beneath advancing columns that shook the continent with every step. Human civilization burned. Millions died within decades. Human bloodlines vanished so completely that some elder historians believed mankind would disappear entirely before the ether depletion became irreversible. And perhaps humanity should have vanished. Perhaps the world would have healed if they had. But humanity possessed the same trait that had always made them dangerous. They survived. Human kingdoms shattered into smaller tribes, hidden settlements, underground refuges, wandering clans. While the elder races relied on mana-rich territories to sustain their civilizations, humans adapted to ruin. They learned to live in dead lands where ether density had already fallen too low for older species to function properly. And as centuries passed, something unexpected happened. The elder races continued weakening. Humanity did not. Mana density kept falling. Year after year, generation after generation, the ether-rich world that had once sustained the elder civilizations was disappearing faster than anyone had predicted. Entire species depended biologically on ambient mana to survive. Without it, their bodies slowly failed. The elves lost immortality first. Ancient rulers who had lived for thousands of years began aging within mere decades. Their once luminous forests turned gray beneath silent skies. Diseases unknown in the age of ether spread through their kingdoms. The dwarves suffered next. Their resonance forges stopped functioning as mana-rich minerals became inert stone. Ancient engineering techniques passed down for millennia suddenly became impossible to reproduce. Entire underground cities collapsed into darkness as geothermal systems failed. The giant clans starved. Their enormous bodies required massive mana intake simply to exist. As ether density weakened, even the strongest giants grew thin and frail. Some ancient records claimed the last giant kings willingly walked into the oceans rather than die watching their species decay. The world entered a long age of bitterness, and humanity endured it. Humans reproduced faster than any elder race. Where elves needed decades to raise children, humans raised generations. Where giants required vast territories to sustain their populations, humans survived in overcrowded settlements built atop ruins and battlefields alike. Slowly, painfully, humanity reclaimed the dying world. Then humanity became cruel. The surviving elder races no longer possessed enough strength to resist human expansion. Their ancient powers faded with every century, while human technology advanced rapidly through adaptation and desperation. The cycle of revenge turned. Human kingdoms expanded across abandoned territories, once ruled by immortal civilizations. Elven survivors were captured and traded between noble houses as symbols of status and beauty. Dwarves were forced into mines and industrial labor because their knowledge of stone and metal remained unmatched even without mana. The last beastkin tribes were hunted, enslaved, or driven into wastelands where they slowly disappeared into myth. Giants became weapons, living siege beasts chained by human empires, terrified of their remaining strength. The world that once belonged to many races became increasingly human, and humanity learned nothing. Without the elder races uniting the continent through fear and balance, human nations turned against each other. Kingdom fought kingdom. Empires rose atop slave labor and collapsed beneath greed. Wars spread endlessly across the fractured continents born from the collapse. Humanity conquered the world it had broken, then immediately began fighting over the corpse. Centuries erased memory. The ether-rich age faded into mythology. Surviving records were burned, hidden, or rewritten by rulers who preferred simpler histories. The elder races stopped being remembered as civilizations and became legends instead. Elves became fairy tales, giants became monsters, dwarves became drunken myths told beside campfires. Humanity buried the truth beneath religion, politics, and time, until eventually even humans forgot that another world had existed before their own. But beneath the oceans, beneath mountains, beneath Antarctic ice older than civilization itself, the ruins of the first world remained, silent, waiting. And somewhere beyond the dead ether veil surrounding Earth, ancient eyes still watched the species that had murdered its own planet and survived anyway.